What's up, everybody? Carpo. Alright, that's a good place to put it. I'm wearing this because it's cold outside. I'm trying to stay warm. I can't find any warm hats. But I'll talk about a few things here real quick. Kind of taking a break from the day here and processing some of the thoughts that I've had over the last, few days. And I had some stuff written down, but nothing really comes together. You know, it's just random scribbles that never seem to go together. I've been mainly thinking about certain conversations and how people can disagree on many levels, but when it gets to a certain level of importance, the disagreements become more complex. I've learned a lot about arguments, rational arguing, and understanding why people stand up for what they believe and how far they'll go for certain things. And I try not to waste too much breath on it, you know, and I've seen that people stand up for themselves, and what they believe strongly, and that's to be expected. But to what end and to what degree? So I started asking myself, because some people believe that what they think is beyond reproach, that there's absolutely no looking at it again. There's no reanalyzing it or reformulating it. This is what I believe, or this is what I think, or this is what life is, and that's just it. And when something's beyond reproach, it makes it difficult when there are doubts, such as when a person is asked a particular question and resorts to diversionary tactics and going back to a previous question or something totally irrelevant to the discussion at hand. And we all experience this, I think, to varying degrees, especially when we're online. But thinking that people are beyond reproach is not really conducive to a formal discussion. So you got to kind of leave it as it is. It ends up causing conflict sometimes among people. But the whole thing is why do we have discussions? So we can learn. But why do we believe people in general? Like, why do we believe what a person tells us? And why should we care what a person says to us? And I've really thought about this a lot in depth, because I think it's important for us to know exactly how people impact us and how we impact people, and try not to hurt feelings or hurt each other. Why should we believe a person? Well, the way I see, and I don't mean believe what they're saying is true, but necessarily even take into account what they say might be true, or take their opinion to heart. A good example is when you've had, say, a friend for a long time, and they make a comment about you, something you should change or something they think is offensive. You're going to take it to heart, no matter who you are. It's just how it is. You may be hurt by it, get butthurt, but the fact that the friend brought it up means he's a good friend. Now, if it's somebody you just met that you don't even know, that's telling you, you should be more of this or you should be more of that, you're more likely to just kind of look like, what? You don't even know me. You don't know who I am. And you instantly become standoffish. You know, even if you were to meet someone who was able to totally call out exactly the type of person you are and be accurate, you'd still be offended by it because the person doesn't know you. And this happens a lot online. Say with a person that you've talked to a lot online might make a comment, and you would respect that person's point of view because you've had previous discussions. And then there's be the one guy who will pop into a long chain of comments, and he'll say something totally offensive. I think actually that happened in a comment the other day when I was listening to I can't remember who it was, but it was a video about somebody who was mad about somebody else making videos. It was this lady that had been harassed. It goes back and forth and back and forth. The end question for me is always, why should I value this person's opinion? So I think about it. You know, when we value people's opinions in public, as far as like whether it be politicians, movie stars, or whatnot, you know, the most ridiculous thing to me is movie stars promoting products. Now, why should I care what this person thinks? Just because they're an actor? Hell, they're an actor. Think about it. You know, you want an actor to be president? Well, that's happened. You know, actors are actors. They're nothing more. You know, it doesn't make them more valuable in society. In fact, it makes them less valuable, in my opinion. than some, but we look at books and TV, etc., and we believe what people say based on the respect that they have from their peers. So if a person publishes a book and they're a valued asset to the community, they have a PhD, they have a doctorate, and they're a professor at a college, people are going to listen. But some people don't even want to listen to that. Noam Chomsky he's the man of the times. This guy has said it all. And you can tell he's getting old and he's getting tired of hearing the same stupid questions. I was watching one of his shows the other day, and some kid asked him after the lecture, he said, "So, how does the government keep control of the media and tell them what to say?" And he just looks at the kid. He's like, "The government doesn't tell the media what to say. That's just taking the conspiracy to a whole other level." And this is a guy who knows, He says it's not the media that's being told by the government. It's the big business that's running the show. Big business they're both catering to big business. But beyond that, what I'm saying is that we have a person who's highly respected, highly revered by some, but hated by many because he's exposing the whole system as it is, and he always has. There are a lot of guys like him, and they're the saviors of our community. And those are the folks who, if they have an opinion, I'm willing to listen. And sometimes one of their opinions might go against what I've previously been told. Now, when that happens, some people just scream agent, or they scream that they are paid off, or they've sold out. People don't want to hear anything that conflicts with what they believe. It goes back to being beyond reproach. And so we trust certain officials, we trust certain people, we trust certain people with our assets, with our lives, with our health. You have to trust people to a degree. So if you'd been going to your doctor for years and he told you something that you needed to change about your health, you'd probably listen. If you went to a new doctor and it's the first time you'd ever been there, and he started telling you, well, you should change your diet, you should change this and that, they may be just as right, but you might be more offended. Historically, people who we highly revere have been totally crazy and done crazy-ass things. Isaac Newton, all we hear about from Newton was, he discovered gravity, the apple. The truth is, many of his documents were hidden and put away in a trunk and were actually bought around the year 1900 by a fellow who went through them and found that Newton had performed all kinds of crazy alchemical experiments. He had stuck a needle into his eye all the way to the back of his own eyeball so he could experiment with how sight works. I believe he stared at the sun one time until he went blind, and then locked himself in a dark room for 3 days until he regained his sight. Now that kind of shit takes balls, but it also takes stupidity. So what we have is people who are willing to sacrifice their own health and well-being and do some crazy experiments. The things that we're told historically about people isn't always accurate. Descartes was a philosopher who may have even, founded Freemasonry, if you will. I'm not a supporter of Descartes, but many people revere him as being, this great philosopher. But Descartes once said that animals are merely machines created for man, and when they don't serve man, then they've malfunctioned. Little comments like that people say just kind of make you just go, what? It doesn't show that people are totally wrong in all their beliefs. It shows that even when a person knows a lot, they tend to make a degree of mistake. They tend to say things that are out of line and wrong, and I do it too, and I will admit to that. There are times in my videos where I say something I did not mean it the way it came out, and it might be a little harsh, and I think, but when you're expressing your feelings, that's how things come out. And I try to be, rational. And when I'm having a discussion with the person, I try to keep it rational. And it seems like people don't understand the implications behind the words that I'm speaking when I'm typing, and that's why it's easier for me to make videos expressing how I feel. But you can only say so much to a person, and if they don't know you, they don't understand you, they'll never get it. And so the people who I respect and I revere, the people who have shown me that they have something to contribute to the discussion or something to contribute to life in general, those are the ones that I'm willing to listen to when they have something critical to say. The folks who just keep saying the same things over and over, who don't have anything to back up their claims, or people you don't even know, it makes it really hard to take them seriously, because we've all heard everybody's opinion for so long. You know, we've all grown up with people telling us what they believe and what they believe and what they think is true. And we even trust our scientists to the degree that science has become religious-like, and it's so many scientists are afraid to break the paradigm, you know, because they don't want to be outside of the circle. So it's like, who do we even trust anymore? You know, how do we know that we can even trust our own senses when we make so many mistakes in everyday life? Just think like the tree. We're all in this together, and I think we can all act like adults. Sometimes we pretend like we're trying to be rational, and I know we all do it. We pretend like we're trying to be the better person or the bigger person, but in reality, we're being little stinkers, and we know we are. And I think not everyone does it, but a lot of us do, you know, tend to instigate more problems in a discussion that we know isn't going anywhere, but certain antagonisms, you know, are actually result in a better discussion for both of the parties involved, where people can actually learn from it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to gain insight from other people and hope to build all of our lives to where we can get along on this ball peacefully. Namaste.